Good evening. These are the top stories.
Tonight, the ghosts of corruption come calling. Former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero arrested. He will face graft-related charges alongside 10 others.
Also tonight, a multi-billion shilling mall brought down.
Tumewaonyesha license ya NEMA, tumewaonyesha hii kitu ya canalization. Hii hapa tulipatiwa na Warma.
Tenants count losses as bulldozers clear the waterways. NEMA says this is just the beginning. But how did we get here?
Hey, why the government is doing this? Ni kama umbwa inatabika na kukura. Why?
And a week later, MPs still won't debate the sugar report.
If there are issues that we need within that report that are not there, that are not reflected, then it is in our mandate as members to move amendments as necessary.
Debate pushed to Thursday amid concerns that it has been doctored to protect the big fish.
Plus, a Kisumu doctor suspended for demanding money before helping a defiled child.
NTV Tonight with Dennis Okari and Olive Burrows.
Thank you for joining us. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atieno, and you can watch us live on ntv.co.ke/live.
Well, tonight, the ghosts of corruption have come calling, and former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero is tonight expected to answer to allegations of mismanagement and embezzlement of public funds.
The former Nairobi governor was arrested earlier this evening by detectives from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission and is still at this hour being questioned. Vincent Odwor is live for us at the Integrity Center. Vincent, what more do we know?
Absolutely. The former Nairobi governor was brought here at Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission headquarters, Integrity Center, at 5:15 in the evening. And since that time up to right now, the governor is still in the building, and I'm being informed that he is being interrogated and also being taken through the process of ensuring that they'll be ready to present him in court tomorrow. What I can tell you is that when the governor was brought here, he was all alone because he was driven in by EACC officials, and he was all alone. He had no bodyguards, he had no personal aides or any other person in that matter. And we tried to ask him why he was arrested or why he had been arrested and what he was coming here to do, and he said he didn't know. And that is when they really pushed him through the ever-revolving doors of EACC, and until now he's still inside. And what I can also tell you is that at around 8 p.m. today, almost 30 administration police officers were deployed here at Integrity Center, and right now they are here. Some are in heavy gear, and they are manning this place and around they're manning the compound here at Integrity Center, and we really don't know why such a high number of administration police officers have been deployed here. Earlier on, we were able to speak to Kidero's lawyer, who is Professor Tom Ojienda, who also came here to see his client, and this is what he told us earlier on. Basically, the lawyer said that his client will spend the night here at Integrity Center, and they are expecting that the EACC officials are going to present Kidero tomorrow in court by 9 a.m. And we tried to ask him really what are some of the charges that his client is facing, and he told us that he's not aware, he doesn't know the specific charges, and that is something we're going to know tomorrow at 9 a.m. when Kidero will be presented in court. Remember, Kidero is among 8 other people who are supposed to be arrested and arraigned in court. Remember, one of the people who is also being sought after by EACC officials is one lady called Lilian Degwa, who served as the county secretary when Kidero was in power. And also another person whom we are looking for is one person called Jimmy Kiamba. Jimmy Kiamba served as the head of finance at the county, and they are among and Kidero is just among the 9 people who are supposed to be arrested and arraigned to court. And therefore tomorrow we'll go to court and we'll bring you what will be happening tomorrow and know what are some of the charges they are facing, because there is a number of charges they are facing, things to do with offenses to do with corruption and economic crimes. And also, you know, EFCC officials have been investigating these people on allegations to do with abuse of office, money laundering, bribery, conflict of interest, and also failure to protect public property despite them being senior government officials. Therefore, until tomorrow, we'll bring you what will happen in court and what are some of the charges they'll be facing. For now, I'm taking you back to studio.
Thank you, Vincent, for that report. Vincent remains at the Integrity Center and will be bringing us more details as they become available. We do have some information, however, and the former Nairobi governor faces allegations of abuse of office, money laundering, bribery, conflict of interest, and failure to protect public property. He will be charged alongside these 10 others that include...
We have several names there, and we have Evans Odhiambo Kidero, who's the one who's currently there, the former Nairobi governor. We also have Lilian Wanjiru Ndegwa, former county secretary, and also Jimmy Mutuko Kiamba, the former CFO of the Nairobi county, and Stephen Ogaga Osero, that's the former HO county treasury, Luke Mugo Gatimu, the acting chief officer finance. Also we have Maurice Ochieng Okere, acting head of county treasury. The other names, Gregory Mwakanongo, who's the CEC member and Finance and Economics Planning Department, John Githua Njogu, Lodwa Wholesalers, Ngurumani Traders Limited. Those are some of the companies that have also been mentioned alongside Evans Kidero, Grace Njeri, Githua, Lodwa Wholesalers, Ngurumani Traders as well. And then we have now the company itself, Lodwa Wholesalers Limited and Ngurumani Traders Limited, which are part of the names that have made it to this list of investigation as Dr. Evans Kidero is at EFCC going through interrogation. We don't know how long that is going to take, like Vincent Odor mentioned, but those are some of the names that have been listed so far.
And as Vincent mentioned, after speaking to Kidero's lawyer, who I believe he said was Tom Ojienda, the exact details are not yet available, but we'll make them available to you as they come in.
Well, we move on to another story where 5 Kenyan soldiers were today killed and 6 others wounded after their vehicle ran over an improvised explosive device in Kwa Omolo area, Boni Forest, Lamu County.
Witnesses say the KDF lorry was moving from Baragoni towards Bodhe area when the incident happened. The soldiers were on a routine security patrol. No major attacks have been reported in the forest since the Kenya Defense Forces moved in for a special operation to flush out the Al-Shabaab in July of 2017.
The ground and air operation codenamed Operation Linda Boni is still pursuing the militants who have used the thick, expansive forest as their safe haven.
The imposing South End Mall, located along the Langata Road, has been demolished.
The mall became the latest casualty of the campaign by the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, to reclaim riparian land in Nairobi.
Bulldozers struck in the wee hours of Wednesday, bringing to a close a long-drawn legal battle on the location of the mall, whose construction has been criticized by a section of government agencies, environmentalists, and even residents.
NTV's Silas Apollo spent a better part of the day following up the story and filed the following report.
An unusually hostile morning. Tenants at the mall and residents of the area awakened by the roaring sounds of bulldozers, whose sole purpose today was to tear down walls of the imposing building. Tenants dashing in to salvage their properties for fear of incurring losses. NEMA argues that the building was put up on riparian land and that its demolition is just the beginning of the ongoing campaign against buildings constructed on wetlands. The building owned by former Bubasi MP Stephen Manoti has been blamed for obstructing the Nairobi River, leading to perennial flooding and destruction of property in Nairobi West, South Sea and Langata areas. It was built at the junction of Mangathi Way and Langata Road after prolonged tussle between the government and businessmen over encroachment of the Ngong River.
NEMA says that this is one of the 4,000 buildings that have been built on riparian land, and whose construction has been blamed for blocking the Nairobi River.
The owner of the building has however maintained that the demolition was illegal. In fact, he says they have all the documentation that approve the constructions, all from the relevant government agencies.
Why the government is doing this? Ni kama umbwa inatabika na kukura. Why? Mnachanganya vitu kwa nini? Hii na hii sasa mnasema si yetu hata iko mbali kuliko hii inajengwa sasa hii. Hii ndio iko kwa mto. Na zingine pale juu ziko kwa mto. Why this one? Kuna siasa inaendelea juu ya hii maneno ya nyumba hii yetu.
Some of the tenants say the authority failed to give them notice to vacate the building, a number now counting losses after they were caught unawares by the demolitions.
Just a notice, you know, like so many people would depend on to live, to eat, to work, even for the owner. We invest in so much things.
Tuko tunagoja notice tuambiwe tutoke, lakini hatujaiambiwa.
Plans to demolish the building has seen a sustained back and forth between authorities and the owner since constructions commenced. The operation to claim riparian land in Nairobi is led by Nairobi Regeneration Team, which is co-chaired by Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko and Tourism CS Najib Balala. The team, which was appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta, also brings together officers from the National Construction Authority, NEMA, CSS of Interior, Land, Housing, Environment and Water, as well as the National Youth Service. NEMA has maintained that the campaign will continue. Silas Apollo, NTV.
The controversial South End Mall located at the junction of Mbagathi Way and Langata Road has finally been brought down after years of public uproar.
The mall that was built after a prolonged tussle between the government and businessmen over encroachment of the Ngong River has been a matter of contestation that has now been put to rest.
NTV Zainab Ismail with the details.
When construction of this mall began, it signaled harsh times for neighboring residents of this area. The developer, then Bobasi Member of Parliament Stephen Manoti, was accused of failing to adhere to plans that had been approved by the Water Resources Management Authority. In 2015, the building was marked for demolition, but Manoti asked for more time to comply with the regulations set. According to the Nairobi County Government, the approval he was given allowed him to create a canal on the river. But it also demanded that he allows a space of at least 6 meters between the canal and the building. That did not happen. Manoti obtained a court order to stop the demolition. City Hall challenged the order in court in early 2017 and the building was set to be brought down.
City Council walipeana approval na tumekaa kwa hii site tangu 2008.
The approval can be given, but the implementation must also comply with the plans.
He tried to plead his case with the county officials who visited his premises with demands that he should make certain changes, but it was a tall order. For instance, just how was he going to provide for the riparian reserve with the building already 5 floors up? On May 11, 2016, Manoti had been issued with a 14 days notice to demolish the structure. It sparked discussion in many forums, including the County Assembly of Nairobi, then chaired by Alex Magello.
NEMA is responsible 90% for the buildings on riparian and waterways in the city of Nairobi.
We are in record that this proponent contravened the condition of the EIA license. NEMA had issued a restoration order to bring down a section, not all, a section of the building which has encroached into the riparian reserve.
The endless court battles saw the construction of the building complete and another one coming up right next to it. But that was not the only challenge that NEMA had to face.
There are investors, there are people who go to there, and we caught one saying to our officers, you bring down this building, I chop off your head.
However, 2 years later, South End Mall has finally been reduced to a heap of rubble. It is among thousands of buildings that had been marked for demolition in contravention of the Article 67 of the Constitution, which states that riparian land is public land. It has been blamed for causing flooding in Nairobi West, South Sea and Langata. The operation is aimed at reclaiming Nairobi River. Zainab Ismail, NTV.
Daudi Nzomo, the man caught on camera assaulting his wife Winifred Mwende in Chaka village, Makueni County, has now been slapped with a 12-year sentence.
He will serve 10 years in prison and the remaining 2 years on probation.
Senior Principal Magistrate James Mwaniki says he took Nzomo's violent history into account when considering his punishment.
NTV's Sharon Baranga has this development.
Daudi Nzomo, flanked by police officers, started off on his journey towards making amends for his crimes. He sat stoic throughout the hearing, even as his close family hung on to the magistrate's every word. The verdict:
accused person will serve a cumulative sentence of 12 years. He will serve 10 years in prison and upon release the remainder of the 2 years on probation to enable guidance, counseling and social support with a view to possible and full integration back to the family and the community.
Senior Principal Magistrate James Mwaniki says he took into account his unrestrained and violent history.
The convict has previously assaulted the victim in 2013 when she objected to him marrying a second wife. The accused person assaulted his father in 2015 over domestic disagreements, and in 2016 he did assault his parents and his 2 wives. In May this year, the convict is said to have assaulted and injured a young man who was his neighbor and who was living with mental disability.
The P3 form submitted in court showed his wife Winifred Mwende sustained severe head injuries. The physical and psychological harm inflicted on her was classified as grievous.
On the positive side, I do take into account the mitigating factors by the convict, who has pleaded for leniency as the sole breadwinner of his family. I do take into account the victim's sentiments that she has forgiven the accused person, who is her husband and whom she described as hardworking.
Nzomo's sentence was good enough for his father, who had prepared for worse.
Ninaona koti ilifanya mzuri kwa sababu nikitoka nyumbani ninaona Nzomo anaweza fungwa maisha.
A video of Nzomo assaulting his wife Winifred Mwende in Kitonyoni village, Makueni County last week lit up social media. She is currently nursing her wounds at the Nairobi Women Hospital. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
A 25-year-old woman has been arraigned at the Thika Law Courts and charged with child neglect and denial of basic rights.
The woman stands accused of failing to breastfeed her 4-month-old child unless her estranged husband pays her 100,000 shillings.
Charity Mwangi has the details.
Breastfeeding is said to be the pride of a mother, a means for mother and baby to bond. But for Faith Nyokabi, it is a good enough reason for her husband to take her to court.
Ni kama bibi yangu na mama yake, ni kama kuna biashara wanataka kunipiga. Juu kusema ukweli, kama wewe ni mzazi, haiwezi kuwa ati mtoto msichana wako anaweza kuwa ameoleka na akona mtoto, ukuja kwa nyumba na ukubali akae siku moja, siku mbili, siku tatu bila kumuuliza mtoto wako wapi.
Negotiations failed, and so the issue quickly escalated to the courts. Nyokabi appeared today before Principal Magistrate Grace Omodho Otieno to answer to unusual charges.
Mamake anasema ndio anyonyeshe huyu mtoto, labda apewe shilingi 100,000 amnyonyeshe kwa mwaka mmoja.
Nyokabi and Kiri's marriage has been characterized by challenges, but the cruelty towards the baby seems to be the straw that broke the camel's back.
Kuna wakati mwingine nilikuwa nimeleta kazi nje, akaniambia nikuje haraka. Nikamwambia juu kazi haijaisha, tutatoka huko ni weekend. Akaniambia naye kama utakuja on weekend utaona vile nitakufanyia. Mimi kurudi nikuta amechoma nguo zangu.
Nestled in her father's arm, the 4-month-old baby receives comfort that the father claims the mother has withheld by not breastfeeding. He says that his wife of 3 years is endangering the daughter's health.
Ile maneno naona akifanya siwezi nikasema nampenda kabisa. Hata kama ni mambo ya kurudiana, labda hiyo mambo ikuja ukaliwa na wazee na wazazi after kwanza tupeane break. Ile kitu nataka sana kwanza ni huyu mtoto nijue ati hata kama atachukua huyu mtoto haizi kaa naye hivi akae na yeye kama anajua serikali inamuangalia.
The accused denied the charges and was released on a cash bail of 30,000 shillings. The case will be mentioned on 15th August 2018. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Back to our earlier story, and as Vincent Odoro was reporting to us that former Nairobi Governor Dr. Evans Kidero was still being questioned at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission offices, that's at Integrity Center, and is facing various charges of graft together with 10 others, and we don't know how long this is going to take, so we'll keep Vincent there to just brief us later on what's happening there.
Yes, and as mentioned in a tweet from the Director of Public Prosecutions, the charges they're facing have to do with allegations of mismanagement and embezzlement of public funds. Let's hear now from the lawyer.
They haven't told us about the specifics of the charges, but we know that at 8 a.m. tomorrow they will record a charge and caution statement. We expect him in court at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I believe that there are issues that relate to the year 2013-2014, and basically it relates to questions of financial management which touch on the finance department of the county, which are general questions that I believe conspiracy and such other charges.
Have you been able to see him? Have you talked to him?
No, they are treating him very well. He's comfortable. He's been given dinner. And yes, the ESCC is handling him very, very well. Yes, there's no problem. I think detained is a strong word. He's sitting down comfortably with the officers, having a discussion. And as I said, they are very civil. The ESCC officers are very civil. They are very good people. And it's simply a process, a normal process.
That was Kidero lawyer Tom Ojienda briefing us on his status, and he says his client has been fed and is being treated amicably.
Yeah, something interesting about this, when these people are arrested and you keep on hearing that they're well fed, they're being treated nicely, you don't get to hear this when ordinary people get arrested. It's just totally different. The treatment is totally different.
Is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally different.
All right. Well, the Senate's Sessional Committee on County Public Accounts and Investment wants Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, Education Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang, and the National Lands Commission Chairperson Mohamed Swazuri held responsible for the loss of 1.5 billion shillings paid as part of a 3.3 billion shilling compensation for the land where RUARAKA High School and Drive-In Primary School are located.
The committee wants the DPP, DCI and EACC to investigate the three and others, and if found culpable, to be prosecuted. NTV's Kemi Jungo reports that the committee also wants the 1.5 billion shillings recovered from Whispering Palms Limited within the next 3 months if the report is adopted by the Senate.
In its recommendations contained in a report that will now go before the plenary to be adopted or rejected, the committee wants the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the Director of Public Prosecution, and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission to recover from Whispering Palms Limited, Afrison Export-Import Limited, and Hewlands Limited and their directors the 1.5 billion shillings that they fraudulently claimed and were paid by the National Lands Commission. The recommendations also include an immediate stop to any further payments for the land that the committee hold was surrendered for public utilities. The DCI, DPP and EACC also have 3 months to carry out investigations and prosecute the National Lands Commission Chairperson Mohamed Swazuri, the Vice Chairperson Abigail Mukolwe, Commissioner Tom Konyimbi, the Chief Executive Officer Tom Chavangi, Director Valuation and Taxation Salome Munubi, persons the committee says caused the loss of the 1.5 billion shillings. The senators say that in 3 months' time, the DPP and EACC should conduct further investigations into Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i and Education Principal Secretary Dr. Belio Kipsang, and if found culpable, be prosecuted for occasioning the loss of the 1.5 billion shillings. The committee also wants the two to be found responsible for the loss and for disregarding recommendations of a report of quality assurance and standards assessment which is established that the land on which RUARAKA High School and Drive-In are built. In its findings, the committee notes that due diligence was not followed in the process of acquisition of the parcel of land, which the committee says was surrendered by Drive-In Estate Developers Limited as a condition of approval for subdivision for the land parcel LR number 7879/4, a condition that was not subject to negotiation upon approval. This is the latest report from the parliamentary committee regarding this land that puts it back in public hands. The owner, Francis Mburu, maintains the land belongs to him and the structures on it are illegal. The committee was looking at the compensation and if it was procedural. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
From that story by Ken Mijungu, we are taking a short break.
But on the other side of the break, we have the latest on the sugar report and on the effort to impeach CS Rotich.
Welcome back. The much anticipated sugar report that was scheduled to be debated in the National Assembly on Wednesday has again been pushed forward, adding to more speculation on the motive and subsequent outcome of the debate.
Homa Bay woman representative in the National Assembly, Gladys Wanga, became the latest MP to forward proposed amendments to the document as fellow legislators prepare for a showdown on Thursday afternoon in the main chambers of Parliament buildings.
NTV's Seth Olale with the latest update on the progress of the sugar reports.
It's exactly a week since the sugar report compiled by the 38-member Joint Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture and Trade was tabled in Parliament. The report was scheduled for debate on the floor of the House on Wednesday, according to the order paper, but was later pushed forward to Thursday, raising more anxiety and speculation on what is dragging the document from being discussed by legislators. The much-awaited debate on the sugar report has been dominated by sideshows ranging from impeachment notices to numerous amendments, the latest presented by Homa Bay Women Rep Gladys Wanga.
The amendments we are moving is to tighten the noose a bit further. Instead of saying that these people should be investigated, I feel there's nothing more to be investigated. The committee has already done their investigations. They found where the loopholes are. So action should be taken.
In total, around 20 amendments have been forwarded to the House Business Committee in just a week since the report was tabled in Parliament, amid fears that interested parties, especially those implicated, might have a hand in the amendments. In addition, there are reports that a section of members are plotting to dismiss the report in its entirety to vindicate entities implicated in the report. Still, members of the committee are confident that the report will be adopted by the larger house.
This report has quite a bit of very good recommendations, which is going to help the sector to streamline, and also for the legislators to come up with a framework to be able to help. And those that are found culpable must be held to account.
The preliminary report that was presented on the floor of the House was rejected by MPs who termed it inconclusive. This is at least the fourth time the sugar report is being pushed forward for debate, but the more the document is being shelved, the more anxious Kenyans become, even as the Joint Parliamentary Committee insists that all is well and they are confident that this time the report will be adopted despite the sideshows and the controversies involved. Seth Olale, NTV.
Last year's general election was groundbreaking in many ways. It was not just the first time the result of a presidential election had been overturned, but the election also produced the country's first ever set of female governors.
1 year down the line, and the governors from Kitui, Kirinyaga and Bomet have learnt and are mastering the ropes of politics and leadership at the very top.
NTV's Brenda Wanga spent some time with one of the pioneer female governors, Dr. Joyce Laboso, and reports on the progress and the hurdles she and the other two governors have had to jump every day.
It's been 1 year since she took oath of office, and seating former Governor Isaac Ruto in one of the most bruising gubernatorial contests of the 2017 general election. The dust has since settled on those celebrations, and the first female governor of the county, and one of only 3 the country has ever had, has hit the ground running quite literally.
Breakfast.
Her priorities for this county very clear.
I am the head of this this government. I must get it right, you know, and to get it right, I must be able to plan well. And put the right people in the right place, and if I don't provide that leadership, and direction and guide on how I want things to be done.
That planning begins every day in the morning for the governor. At the breakfast table, for her, this is the most important meal of the day, and with good reason.
Probably the only meal where I can really have some quiet time and really, you know, first of all, pray, and then settle down, have a meal, be alone, because after I come out of here, it's just people and everybody everywhere. So you'll find I always just close that door, have breakfast quietly, reflect on what's ahead of me for the day, and
kind of just mentally plan my day.
After getting in her early morning nourishment, it is off to the office for the governor. Since she took office in late August, she has kept a routine that sees her split her time between conducting county government business at her office and out in the field. Her zeal for her work informed by the promises she made to the electorate, promises she says she is keen to fulfill to the best of her ability.
How do we reduce poverty? By doing or working on the areas that we already have, capacity, we already have strength. For example, our good soils and, the fact that we have, fairly good rainfall almost throughout the year. So for us, that's what we are focused on.
Her plans towards achieving this cut across a wide spectrum of platforms, from the basic building blocks, early childhood education, to improved food production and everything in between. In this county, there is a flurry of activities centered around the construction and equipping of ECD centers. For the first time, some of the county's children are getting to learn their ABCs from permanent structures with the requisite learning material. In just 1 year, the county has completed the construction of over 80 classes. Double that number is expected to be done in the next year.
Mambo ya ECD naona inaendelea kujengwa, ingine imekuwa.
While she remains clear on what she wants to achieve for her county, it is not lost on her that the expectations on her are equally high. She says her attention is on delivery rather than politics. Her gender has also stood her in good favor both locally and internationally.
The unique governors are the first 3 women, because everybody else is the same. The first generation governors, all of them were male. So the new kids on the block are the 3 women governors. And so therefore, a lot of the partners would like to try out anything new, anything that they would wish to pilot. With the first thing is, why don't we start with the 3 female governors?
But she is also keen to cultivate an image of a competent governor, gender notwithstanding.
We are also focusing and making sure that all the departments actually have been put on a performance contract, that they are all expected to give us very clear targets of what it is that they are going to do, and they are going to be appraised on the same. So we just want to professionalize the way we are doing work in the county.
Managing public expectations is something that she says she continues to face almost on a daily basis.
People will relate more to women, more, and would be able to share even maybe things that they would not ordinarily think of even sharing with a man. So that feeling of motherliness and that feeling that she will understand, she's a mother, maybe has had children also like me. So that one is sometimes can be a little bit daunting, because everybody's expectations of what you should be able to do for them, and that you should be able to understand because you are a woman and you are a mother.
In this county, like many other places in the country, the culture of handouts has been entrenched deeply. She is fighting this impression and winning inch by inch.
Mara mwingine anajaribu kukuwekea makosa, mwingine bado ni mapema sana kusema ati mama hajafanya kazi. Bado tunaendelea tu kufanya hiyo kazi.
A battle she, however, is looking forward to winning is that of empowering the residents of BETT to be self-sufficient. The county boasts of good farming conditions and ideally should be producing enough food for local consumption and export.
We are telling them, first of all, the first market for those bananas or the avocados, because we went into bananas, avocados, and even macadamia nuts, as a way of diversifying and letting them really not just focus, because it has always just been tea. And in the areas where there is no tea, it was always about maize and a bit of sorghum. So it is going to be agriculture, and we still, even the people that are supporting us, whether it is through the World Bank, Smart Agriculture, or several other donors that we are currently working with, all of them are really around agriculture, value addition, looking at very specific chains.
She knows she still has a long way to go before realizing her vision for the county, but she is also aware that her long journey from the classroom to the executive office of the county has equipped her with skills she hopes to tap into as she leads the county and blazes the trail for others who will come after her.
I think I'm still trying to get that reward. I'm still trying to assess the most rewarding part of the job. I think it's just the opportunity that I have been accorded to take up this role, and it will be, I guess I'll see the reward, towards the end, when all the mechanisms and all the things that I've put in place.
1 year down and 4 more to go, and the second governor of the county of Bomet says that she will invest in energies in ensuring that she delivers on her manifesto, and that by the time that her tenure ends, she will have left a positive mark on the people who put her into that office and into that privileged position as one of the pioneer female governors in the country. Brenda Wanga, NTV, in Bomet Town, Bomet County.
NTV Tonight takes another short break.
But when was the last time you had a massage? Hold that thought. When I come back, I'll have more on that story on the business news. Now for the business news. A price war in the telecommunications industry is looming following Airtel's move to slash its call rates by 50%. The company will now charge 2 shillings for calls made across all networks, a rate that will be effected automatically for new subscribers. Current users, on the other hand, can opt into the new call rates. Airtel Kenya's market share by mobile voice traffic grew by 6.7% to 28.7% between January-March and March 2018, the highest growth in the industry. The company was also ranked the best performer in the telco industry with 37 points against an industry average of 19 points. That is according to mobile survey platform M-Survey's Net Promoter Score. Mumias Sugar seems to be sinking deeper in trouble, this time left in darkness after Kenya Power disconnected the miller's supply. KPLC says Mumias owes it 1.2 billion shillings in unpaid bills, but the miller has disputed this and has moved to court to challenge the disconnection. 4 months ago, Mumias shut down its operations due to shortage of cane and was intending to fully resume soon. But the lack of power now means the miller has to rely on generators. At the moment, the miller owes farmers 700 million shillings for cane deliveries and has requested for an additional 2.2 billion shillings from Treasury to pull it back on its feet. Employees of Kenya Tea Packers Limited, also known as Ketepa, are now entitled to a 20% pay increase spread out in 2 years. Speaking in Nakuru County during the signing of the 2018-2019 collective bargaining agreement, Kenya Plantation and Agricultural Workers Union Secretary General Francis Atwoli commended the pay hike and proposed that county governments take over tea plantations currently under multinational companies. Atwoli was protesting the voluntary early retirement program currently being implemented by Unilever Tea, in which 11,000 employees are anticipated to lose their jobs.
We are having a big problem with Unilever, James Finlay. On the same percentage, they want to lower workers to 5, 6, 7, up to 8% maximum. And they are multinationals. Ketepa is an African 100% owned company. It can give workers 10%. And the government, we are appealing to the government, particularly the Minister for Labor. He must tame James Finlay in Kericho. He must tame Unilever in Kericho. They want to declare workers redundant without involving the union.
I asked you a little bit earlier, when was the last time you had a massage, a scrub, or perhaps a pedicure? Well, the value of the spa and wellness industry in Kenya hit 5 billion shillings at the close of 2017, a growth from the 2.5 billion shillings that was posted in 2013. This is according to the Spa and Wellness Association of Africa, Kenyan chapter. The association says that the demand for pampering services is rising due to the demanding nature of the modern work environment and keeps growing by 9% every year. However, the industry faces the challenges of unskilled labor, with the trainings offered failing to keep up with the changing trends. The association is now calling for the government to fast-track the laws to regulate the industry and ensure that all spa and wellness centers employ only qualified professionals. That's it for the business news. We take a break now.
Welcome back, and in our continuing series of Youth in Kenya, we find Amani Katana, who is the founder of Youth Empowerment Program Initiative known to many as YEPI. Under this initiative, he has managed to train over 500 young entrepreneurs and helped over 2,000 young people receive mentorship in Mombasa. Other than this, he also runs GABTech, a company which empowers the community on proper waste management practices through recycling. Here is NTV's Sharon Baranga with the story.
My name is Amani Katana. I'm the founder and executive director of Youth Empowerment Program Initiative, which was founded in 2014. And I grew up in Mombasa from a very humble family, very humble beginnings. I started YEPI because I saw a need here in Mombasa. Unemployment, poverty, violent extremism. Therefore, I decided to be part of the solution of this Mombasa County.
Inside the Youth Empowerment Program Initiative YEPI, there are 3 programs: the Governor Startup Challenge,
whereby we select 10 best entrepreneurs from around the coast region of Kenya. We take them through a 5-day intensive entrepreneurship bootcamp, and then the last day of the bootcamp, we organize a pitch competition whereby the winner goes with 100,000 to scale their business or start their project.
Then there is SEED, Social Empowerment and Entrepreneurship Development.
We train young people on entrepreneurship, then we link them with mentors for a period of 3 months, then we provide a platform for them to pitch their business ideas in front of business leaders, government, investors, so that they can get support or feedback.
With a background in maritime and having worked at the port for slightly more than 8 years, Amani quit his job.
But then I felt isolated because I was not in touch with my community. I felt like I'm not doing direct impact. So I decided to resign to follow my passion for social entrepreneurship and service to the community.
So far, over 500 young entrepreneurs have been trained through YEPI, and over 2,000 young people from Mombasa have received mentorship, and challenges have also been part of Amani's journey.
You call young people for forums like this to empower them, to link them with mentors. They're asking for money, and you're giving yourself your time, your energy, but then they're asking for reimbursement.
And there are success stories.
2 of our beneficiaries who are with me here, Kenley Gitonga, who has an e-platform that could change the way we allocate bursary in our counties, constituencies, and even national. So his e-bursary helps to help young people to apply and receive bursary without needing an inside connection. So this platform can go a long way in cutting corruption and so on.
And that is not all.
I run a business known as GABTech, from the word garbage technology. GABTech was founded in September 2015 in order to solve the unlawful disposal of solid waste here in Mombasa. Everyone was complaining about garbage. So I saw this as an opportunity for me to solve the problem not only for myself, but also for the community, whereby we collect waste twice per week, Monday and Friday, and we add value to this waste by making what we call eco-friendly charcoal briquettes.
Amani is a 2017 Mandela Washington Fellow, a flagship program of the Young African Leaders Initiative. He has also participated in the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program in Nigeria. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
The Democratic Republic of Congo President Joseph Kabila has chosen former Interior Minister Emmanuel Ramazani Shadari to be his successor in upcoming elections, the government has said.
The announcement came just hours before the deadline for lodging applications for the December 23rd election. Shadari is permanent secretary of Kabila's party, the People's Party for Reconstruction and Democracy. Kabila has been in power for 17 years, taking over from his father, Laurent Desire Kabila, who was killed by a bodyguard. Late Tuesday, Kabila held talks with his political allies who are joined in an electoral platform called the Common Front for Congo, FCC, on picking a candidate who would succeed him.
Elsewhere, former Ivory Coast First Lady Simone Babo, who had been serving a
BETT died early this morning in a road accident at Sochoi area in Nandi County.
This crash scene in Sochoi area in Nandi County would be the last hurdle for world champion Nicholas BETT. The impact on his vehicle's windscreen, perhaps an indication of how the 28-year-old athlete met his death.
Vile nilifika hapo nikapata gari imeanguka na kuna mtu ametupwa nje na ameaga.
His father and twin brother, Aaron Koech, were among the first people at the scene of the accident. The shock of losing the third-born child in their family proving too much for them. But it is at the Eldoret Hospital's morgue where it got almost unbearable when the body of the late world champion arrived. A mother's agony.
Gurudumu la mbele kuna kichuma ambayo ilitomoka na ikaweza kuleta hiyo accident.
Condoling with BETT's family were many renowned Kenyan athletes here to pay respects to a fallen colleague.
Poleni kwa sisi zote.
Sasa tulikuwa tunapiga story na yeye, alafu benye hata ya siku moja ukisikia mtu amepoteza mwili ni uchungu sana.
Hapa Eldoret sasa hivi vile mnaviona ni kwamba usuni imejaa kwa kila mtu.
Nicholas BETT will remain in Kenya's athletics history for his gold medal win in the 400 meters hurdles at the Beijing World Championship, the first ever gold medal in that race for the country.
And so on this day, the life and times of Nicholas BETT came to a close. Those who knew him, family and friends, say they can describe him as a jolly and a soft-spoken person whom they will dearly miss. Lois Wangoi, NTV, at the Eldoret Hospital in the county of Uasin Gishu.
Now, the African Athletics Championships in Asaba, Nigeria, where Kenya topped the standings, was departed athlete Nicholas BETT's last assignment. Waro the Kiru with the highlights of his career.
400 meters hurdles world champion Nicholas BETT was the first athlete to walk into the jubilant crowd ready to receive Team Kenya from Asaba, Nigeria around 9 p.m. Monday night. This was BETT's final walk in the limelight.
Final of the men's 400-meter hurdle.
BETT stormed into the Global Stadium in August 2015 when he stunned the athletics world by winning the world title in the men's 400 meters hurdles at the Bird's Nest in Beijing, China.
BETT, the Kenyan, takes it.
Before that, BETT had won bronze at the African Championship in Marrakesh in 2014, and he went on to ace the 2016 Paris leg of the Diamond League. However, injury plagued his career and he finished last in the final of the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games as he attempted a return from injury. Even in his last outing in Asaba, he pulled out of his race due to injury. BETT had a twin brother, Aaron Koech, who is also an accomplished sprinter and who also represented Kenya at the Asaba Championship. The cruel hand of death robbed Kenya of the sprinter following an early morning accident in Nandi County, and the local and global athletics fraternity is in mourning with tweets flowing. Kenyans, among them President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto, also took to social media to pass their messages of condolences. BETT passed away aged 28 years. Warotekiru, NTV.
Well, may his soul rest in peace. Now, the national women's volleyball team, the Malkia Strikers, will fly Kenya's flag in Japan at the World Championship in September. And as Sean Kadovilis reports from Kasarani, preparations have been almost 100% smooth sailing so far.
The Malkia Strikers hard at work at the Kasarani Indoor Gymnasium. The volleyball queens going through their paces under the watchful eye of head coach Japheth Munala. All this in readiness for the 2018 FIVB Women's Volleyball World Championship in Japan. The signing of a 3-year sponsorship deal with the National Oil Corporation of Kenya worth 42 million shillings has been a blessing for the team.
So far, we have not had any challenges concerning the gymnasium. The electricity is already, we have never had any hard time with the electricity. I think they paid it in advance. So like last time, we had a lot of blackouts.
For the team, the morale is very good. We are good psyched, and I think we are well for the match.
However, the team has been training under the shadow of stories circulating on social media regarding half the squad falling pregnant and dropping out.
It's a malicious rumor, and I don't know what this guy wants to get in this rumor. It's a very malicious, and we don't understand why he can start something like that for Malika strikers, even though we don't restrict any Malika strikers from getting pregnant.
And at the Worlds, the Malkia strikers will have their work cut out in Group D alongside Brazil, the Dominican Republic, Kazakhstan, Puerto Rico and Serbia.
So despite negative publicity on social media, morale looks very high within the squad, and it's also good to hear that there are no major problems. Everything is functioning here at the gymnasium, and also allowances are up to date. Sean Carter-Villas, NTV at the Kasarani complex.
Now, a section of Harambee Stars under-17 players have left for Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, where they will play in the upcoming Sekafa Region Qualifying Championship for the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. The rest of the team will jet out Thursday, with the tournament starting on Saturday. Kenya will face South Sudan, Djibouti, Ethiopia and Uganda. The winner of the tournament will gain qualification to the 2019 Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations in Tanzania, alongside the hosts who qualify automatically. Now, the African Cycling Confederation is planning to organize the Tour de Nile, which will feature cyclists from countries along the River Nile in the late 2019. This is according to the president of the African cycling body, Wagihazam Azam, who was speaking at a meeting alongside other African cycling bodies representatives at a Nairobi hotel. Now, moving on, some good news for the rugby fraternity, because the National Assembly has passed a motion tabled by nominated MP Gideon Keter approving the construction of a national rugby stadium and high-performance rugby centers across the country. Keter tabled the motion after having consultations with the Kenya Rugby Union board members. According to KRU, the MP was a guest during the Kenya Cup final, where the idea was mooted for facilities at the county and national level. Now, Kenyan international Michael Olunga is set to join Japanese top-tier side Kashiwa Reysol. Olunga, who enjoyed a loan spell in La Liga playing for Girona last season, has been considered surplus for the Chinese side Guizhou Zhejiang, who have filled their foreign quota. And that does it for NTV Sport. Have a lovely night.
Man, you got to have game.
Well, thank you so much for watching NTV tonight. That's all we had for you, but remember to follow us online. That's ntv.co.ke/live, and tomorrow we'll be doing this same again.
Yes, and on Facebook and Twitter, that is NTV Kenya. My name is Burrows, and our sign language interpreter has been Flora Tino.
My name is Dennis Okari. Have a good night.